Hi, everybody, and we are back. Okay, so today, this is day 5, and well, 5, sorry, not 10, 5. And today's abundance challenge is going to be on forgiveness. So go ahead, Tink, let's start with you. And I'm Laura, and that's Connie, and we're the Michigan Medium Angels.
Also known as Twink and Tink, just so you know, you'll hear us say that. But yes, this is actually probably, they're all going to be my favorite. You're probably going to hear us say that. But the thing is, when we don't forgive someone and we're holding a grudge, that blocks us. It doesn't block the other person. And then it eats away at us and it causes quote unquote disease, right? Which then can cause other issues to go on inside your body because you're holding it in. Usually people with stomach issues usually have a lot of anger in their stomach and rage, okay? And it's because they haven't forgiven. So you're hurting yourself by not forgiving or moving on. It's not saying that you have to, let's be clear on this. You don't have to have anyone in your life who is hurting you, but you do want to forgive them. One of the things, it's so interesting, I will never forget this. It was years ago. It was on the news. I don't watch the news anymore because things haunt me, okay? And I will think about them. But one of the things that was on there was there was a woman who her granddaughter was brutally raped and killed by someone.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, I just wanted to say, let's not get into, yeah.
No. It's just the point of forgiveness of how you can move past things. Because some people I feel they can't move past things, but you really can. But you're going to do it at your own time and space. Anyway, basically what had happened is at the time of the sentencing, the grandmother actually went up. They said, does anybody else want to say anything in the courtroom? The grandmother had gone up there, grabbed his hand and said, I love you and I forgive you. Like for me, I started bawling because I don't think I could do that. Like I really don't. But she gets it. She understands that for whatever reason, it's everything does, I hate to say it, but happens for a reason. And I'm not downplaying or diminishing anything that happens in people's lives. But my point is by holding on to that anger, it's only hurting you and blocking you. So for me, for forgiveness, what I've done in the past to help myself forgive is I do a few different things. One of the things that I'll do is I'll send pink light to myself and to the other person. Even let's just say I'm in an argument with someone, it can help. Pink light is of unconditional love. So what that does is it shifts the energy and shifts the vibration of things. So by sending unconditional love or pink light, you're increasing your vibration and you're helping to heal each other. That's one of the things. And you know what, why don't you go, Twink, and then I'll share more afterwards.
I just wanted to tell you, honestly, how you said that was so good. And it was incredible because as we're doing the 31-day manifesting challenge, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. And this is, forgiveness is a really big word. And there's a lot of emotion behind forgiveness. Mm-hmm. And going forward, to be able to manifest the things that you do want, you really do need to work through forgiveness. And if there is one person or a situation that you feel you're ready to let go of and you want to move forward and you don't want to hold a space for that anymore, this is the time to do that. Because like Connie said, it really will hold a space vibrationally and it will block you. And that's what we do when we're working with people and we're coaching people and why am I not getting forward, or why do I feel like I'm stuck, or why am I pulling in a relationship that I keep having the repeating pattern over and over of this specific guy or this specific female, I'm not able to find what it is that I'm looking for, or that, I'm always feeling like I'm giving so much and they're not giving back. Whatever that pattern is, whatever the relationship is or the issue. And I speak from experience with this very strongly because I was abused as a child and I was molested by my dad. And I had a lot of abuse growing up. And it was very, very difficult for me when my memories came back, because they came back later in my life. And that's what I wrote my book about. That's what I talk about, you know, to some extent. I don't go into a lot of detail about it, but it was a very personal journey in having to forgive, because my abuser happened to be my dad. And so for me, I attracted and I brought in a lot of situations that were mirroring or repeating a pattern for me of not feeling love for myself, and abusive relationships in different ways. And so what I had to do, and I knew for me to be able to move forward, I could not get the closure and get the healing that I needed from my dad, because I had tried and he denied it. And when I went to go talk to him, I had so much anger in me that it actually was shocking. I was shocked by how angry I was and how much I was holding in. And after I confronted him and he said that he denied it, and he said that I was crazy, I had to do a lot of inner work to be able to forgive him. And I truly have forgiven him. I really, really have a lot of love for my dad. It doesn't mean that he's going to be in my life, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to be contacting him or talking to him anymore. But one of the ways that I was able to forgive him was by, in my mind, going through several different processes. One of them was imagining myself going back as a child and seeing myself empowering myself, and me as myself now visualizing and imagining that I was able to stand up to my dad and say what I wanted to say without him having any ability to hurt me or come after me. So in one of my imaginations, I saw a tree falling on him. So he was pinned down, and, you know, my little self, I was, you know, kicking him and punching him and yelling at him. And then I actually ended up in my imagination having him arrested and having him go to trial and having a process of me feeling like I had some justice that had happened. And then another thing that I've also done is written down how I felt, because I didn't feel that he really heard me. I didn't feel that he understood how much what he did to me hurt me in so many areas of my life and impacted me. And so even though I wasn't able to have him hear me or him give me the validation back, it helped me to get it out of my body so I wasn't holding on to it. So that was another way. Another way that I have changed situations and been able to have forgiveness for that situation or for that person is to imagine them surrounded in violet light. Because actually that picture that's behind Connie, go ahead, Connie.
Yes, right here. Let me see if I can adjust it right there.
Yeah, that's the violet flame.
Yeah.
That picture, we both have that, but you can get an image of it, you can print it off. But purple, that violet light, the violet flame transmutes any negativity. And so a lot of times what I'll do as well is see that person or see myself surrounding myself or them in the violet flame. Like Connie said, you can send pink light, sending them unconditional love. I also do that with the violet flame too, or the violet light. And that will help also to transmute any negativity. And asking your angels and your guides to shift the vibration. Help me to be able to forgive. Help me to find a way to be able to move forward so I'm not holding on to this or not holding a space for this anymore. Okay, go ahead, Tink.
No, I love that. Yes, I do use Saint Germain and the violet flame as well, and it's very easy to invoke. You just say, I call upon Saint Germain and the violet flame to transmute any negativity, and you can picture the violet flame within yourself, within the other person. I actually invoke it in my house to keep the energy purified and to transmute any negativity, because that's what it does. It transmutes negative energy. So I love that. Thank you. The angels that you can call upon is Archangel Raphael for healing, Archangel Chamuel or Camuel for peace and joy, to help and for love. And then there's Archangel Zadkiel for forgiveness. And then we said Saint Germain. Another thing is obviously, if you know Reiki or any kind of healing work or energy, sending healing to that other person is another thing that I do. And basically, it's just what it's doing. It's just healing you, and it's healing the other person at the same time, which is one of the things. Okay, if you don't know Reiki or energy work, one of the easiest things you can do besides sending light to someone, or green is healing as well. Pink is for unconditional love. Sorry, are you still there? I may have to plug it in.
Yeah, nope, we're still there. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Another thing is just just have the intention of sending love from your heart to the other person and vice versa. I do that a lot, even in relationships now. If let's say I'm in a disagreement with someone, or I'm a little irritated, whatever it is, I'll just send that love energy from my heart to the other person. One great one that really helped me, because I was in an abusive, like mentally, emotional abusive relationship before. And with that relationship, I realized I had to do a lot of forgiveness work. And what I did is that, and I'm not sure how to say this right, the Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian one, where it's just 4 things that you say. And I actually did that, and I did that several days in a row. And it's basically saying the 4 things that you want to say, and you don't have to say it to the other person. I did not. I just called the other person's soul in, and I literally said to their soul, the first thing is, I forgive you. And then the next thing, and you may not believe it at first, you may get resistance because you don't want to do that. Then the next thing is, you want to say, I'm sorry. And when you say I'm sorry, it's not taking responsibility for things. It could be, I'm sorry for any misunderstanding that I've had. I'm sorry for anything that I've ever done that may have hurt you. Or I'm sorry for something, maybe it was in a past life. Maybe it wasn't even in this life. Maybe it's karmic. So by apologizing to their soul on a soul level, you're healing multiple lifetimes that you could have had with someone karmically that could be causing you to be having what's going on in your life and or experience now. The third thing you want to say is thank you, and thanking them for the experience, because truly every experience is in your life for a reason. And I'm going to be honest, it may suck. It may really suck of what's going on. That's the only thing I can say. And at the same time, know that there always is a purpose. There's always a reason. We may not understand what that reason is, but there always is a reason. And also, well, the last thing you want to say is, I love you, because that's creating unconditional love. That is the epitome of unconditional love. When you can really, again, you don't have to have the person in your life, but it's still loving them unconditionally at a distance. Because I know, some people, we don't want it in our lives every day, right? But it doesn't mean you can't heal on a soul level. That's what that's about. The other thing too, one thing that we don't want to misinterpret or give the wrong message is that you're not allowed to be angry. Okay? Be angry. You know what? Get angry, because you want to feel that. But the key is, you don't want to stay stuck there, but you want to feel the emotion to get it out. Maybe like you did, Twink, you just screamed. You got it out. Maybe you go down and I have karate bags downstairs. I will kick the crap out of those things when I'm really angry or upset, to get the energy out and to move it through. If you're not moving it through, that's what you just don't want to stay stuck there. Does that make sense?
It really does. And it's so interesting. I didn't realize how much there was on this forgiveness topic.
I know.
I'm actually kind of surprised. Yeah. Because as we're talking about this, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much in here. And what you just said, because I wrote that down too, was to allow yourself to be angry. That's something that I think a lot of us are taught, is to not show the emotion, or to not suppress it. Like as a kid, when you get mad, like nobody wants you to be mad. Nobody wants you to be angry. And in the spiritual, aspect of it too, a lot of times everybody's talking about, well, feel good and be happy and, have a vibration that's really high. Well, if you're really pissed off, excuse my language, but if you're really mad and you need to process that, and you need to own it, and don't hold on to it, but take this opportunity, take this moment to really allow yourself to feel what you're feeling, but process it, write it down, get it out. And it may be that you're even mad at yourself because you allowed yourself to be in a relationship that was toxic, or you stayed in a relationship that you wish that you wouldn't have stayed in, or, you know, somebody left you and you're like, well, why? You know, why did that happen? All of those emotions are things that you don't want to hold on to and keep from processing. You really, really want to allow yourself the opportunity to feel them, process them, express them. Like Connie said, you know, go and punch something, not someone, sorry. you know, punch a punching bag, punch a pillow.
You're not supposed to do that? Darn it.
No, Tink, you're not supposed to hit me, okay? You can punch a pillow. You can go into your car and scream. And I actually used to do that. When I was processing my emotions, and I don't think you know this, but it just popped in. When my memories came back, because I was in my late 30s, and that's actually pretty common for sexual abuse memories from childhood to come back forward, to come around, is in your late 30s, early 40s. So when they came back for me, the kids were younger, and I would have to leave the house. You know, they were teenagers, so I could go. I would be so overwhelmed with emotion, and I just didn't want them to see me so distraught and so upset. And so I would leave. I would go in my car and I would just cry and scream and just get the emotion out of my body, because it wasn't good. It was toxic. And I had been holding all of that from the time when I was younger. All of those times that I wasn't able to express how I felt when I was a child, how I wasn't able to tell anybody what was going on, how I was just had to hold it. There are layers and layers and layers of that I needed to allow myself to feel. And so that's one of the ways to do that too. So the other thing too is, I noticed as I was processing the emotions from my childhood that I would have other memories that came up that I didn't process too, because that became a pattern and a habit for me of not processing my emotions in the moment. So when you when you start to do that, it can be a little challenging and a little difficult. And one of the things that kept coming up for me was other experiences related to, I'll give you an example. There was a girl who was a bully. And one of the times I remember I was with my friends, I was with my best friend, and then this girl who was like the cool girl, you know, and she got everybody in the group to kick me out of the cool group. And even my best friend said, she's like, okay, no, she can't stay in our cool group. So I literally had to walk out of the group and go on the playground to go find some other people to play with. So that was very traumatizing for me. But I remember there were two Michelles, Michelle and Michelle, and it was really fun because we ended up doing a talent show together. And that's a funny story. I couldn't remember all of, because the one Michelle, she was really, really good into the choreography, and I couldn't remember it. So I ended up changing the choreography, sorry, Michelle, during the show. And she ended up having to follow me, and it looked like she didn't know what she was doing, and it looked like I did. So I got a little sidetracked there, but my point of that story is that there were other friends that I found, because obviously the other girls weren't very good friends to be friends with. So I did find some other friends, but I had to take time, you know, when I got older, to go back to that memory, because that memory kept coming up for me and it caused me pain. Well, now I can talk about it and it doesn't get me I don't have an emotional reaction to it anymore. Now I'm able to see it for what it was, and it was kids being kids, some kids being mean. I'm sure her home life wasn't a great home life for the way that she was treating me. So take time to go back and to work through those emotions. Okay, go ahead, Tink.
I'm so glad that you changed it, because I was getting emotional at first. You almost made me cry.
Yeah.
But you changed it. It ended up being a good story, so that's good. That's awesome. But that's how you shifted the energy. See how you shifted the energy of that? I love it. And now I did not hear that story. That actually was the first time I heard that. So it was very interesting. But I love the fact how you changed it, and you weren't going to be the one who was feeling insecure about it. You changed it to where it was like, I'm going to do my thing, and then she's going to, not that you want to do that intentionally, but it's interesting how you shifted the energy in both of those. I love that. That's awesome. And also, I really love the fact about how you said about forgiving yourself, because it really starts with forgiving thyself. Because if you can't forgive yourself, you have no room, or you don't have the capacity to actually forgive others. And more times than not, the person who, because we're so hard on ourselves all the time, it is forgiving ourselves and realizing that we just did the best that we could in the circumstances, just like other people are doing the best that they know what to do in their circumstances. And I'm not giving them an out or an excuse. But when you start shifting your perception on that, of instead of judging and blaming, because then you become a victim. So you want to move out of victim role and out from disempowered to empowered. And the way to do that is forgiving yourself, and then you can forgive others. Because I know for the longest time I'd beat myself up for many things that I wish I'd done differently, or should have, whatever the case may be. But realizing all that had to happen because I wouldn't be the person who I am today, sharing this with you guys, if none of that would have happened. So it all does happen for a reason. The other thing I wanted to share, which I didn't get to, is afterwards, I think it was by the third or fifth day of doing that Ho'oponopono thing. And again, I'm probably totally murdering how to say that, but I actually received a text from that person who said how amazing I was and I didn't deserve how I was treated. And this person would have never have done this before. Well, I thought, but I shifted the energy of that. And it really was a miracle. It really, really was. So that just goes to show you it really does work, but you do have to put the time and energy into it and the effort if you really want change. And it starts with putting time and effort into yourself. Does that make sense?
It really does. That was so good. Seriously, that was really good. Wow, there was a lot in there. I wasn't expecting all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot to share apparently, honey.
We did. So forgiveness, today is about forgiveness. Take some time to write a letter of forgiveness to yourself, to someone else. Take a moment, do whatever, some of the exercises. Let us know what worked for you, what you found helpful. If you have something different you'd like to share with other people to help them too. And remember that forgiveness opens up a space for abundance. When you release your anger and you let things go, or really fully process them and heal them, that is how then you'll have more space for the good stuff. So you don't have to hold on to the stuff you don't need anymore. It's time to let it go. Release it and let it go and work through it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a magical day.
Yep. Have a magical day filled with peace, love, and light. Bye.
We will see you tomorrow.